Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about all the series I'm currently in the middle of. I am currently reading a lot of series. Some I haven't picked up in years, some it's been a few days. Who knows? I used to be the type of person that would just binge read a series. I would never let it go too long between books for me to finish them. But as I have been reading more through the years and there have been more books that come out, I now don't binge read series like I used to. So I am in a lot of series at the moment. So we're going to talk about a few and hopefully you can encourage me to finally finish them. So the first series I have to talk about is The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. I believe I've read the first 2 volumes in this series. I read them when I was in Korea, so it hasn't been quite a year, but it has been a few months since I read these volumes. I believe from what I've seen on the internet that there are 10 volumes, which actually isn't bad for a manga series. I love when manga series have 10 volumes because sometimes manga can be so long and it's so expensive, so it's hard to keep up with. But I am about, I think, 2 volumes into this one and I did enjoy them, so I do plan on continuing at some point in the future. The next series I have is Full Metal Alchemist. I have read, I think, 13 of these, which is actually a lot. Pretty proud I got through that. I read them all like pretty quickly and close together about a year ago now. I think that there are 27 volumes, so I am about halfway through the series, which is actually really good. I don't own the rest, and so that's why I didn't continue while I was reading the others. So slowly I want to be able to pick them up so that I can continue them because I really enjoy them. And the next manga series I'm in the middle of is Death Note. Now this is volume 1 of the Black Edition. It is actually a bind up of volumes 1 and 2, and I believe that there are 6 Black editions. These are my favorite editions, so these are the ones I am planning on reading them out of. It is just absolutely stunning. I really love this one. I have only read this one so far, but like I said, there are 6, so there aren't too many, and I cannot wait to continue. I haven't ever watched the anime, and so I really want to be able to read this and then watch it eventually. But yes, I really love this one a lot. Okay, I have 2 manga series left to talk about that I'm in the middle of, and the next one is Happiness. This is volume 1. I have read 5 volumes and there are 10, so this is one that I'm like actively keeping up with. I have volumes 7 and 8 in my collection, but I can't find volume 6 anywhere, so I'm gonna have to try to order it on Book Depository because it's not on any of the websites I usually use. So hopefully I can get that soon so then I can finally continue on. This is about vampires and I absolutely love it. And the last manga series that I'm in the middle of is Yona of the Dawn. This is volume 1. I'm not sure how many there are in this series, but I think this is one of the really long ones. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one because there is some kind of crushes on cousins that goes on, and I know that's very popular in shoujo manga, which is not my favorite. I prefer shonen manga. This is my first shoujo. I think it was my first one, and I just prefer shonen. I just like the action more, but I did enjoy this one and I still do want to continue because I've heard really great things about the rest of the series. Alright, now to get into the book series I'm in the middle of. The first one is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I'm pretty sure there are 8 books in the series if you count the 2 short story collections, and I have read I think like 5 of the books. So I've read more than half of the books, but they get larger, so like I didn't pick them up as quickly. But I love the series so much. It's about an assassin, if you've never heard of it. I really love it. I love Sarah J. Maas's writing, and I definitely do want to continue. I do own the books, and so they're right there. I should just pick them up already. The next series I'm in the middle of is The Vampire Diaries. Now this is a bind-up collection of books 1 and 2 in the series. I believe there are 4 or 5 books in the original Vampire Diaries series. I have read the first 2, and I'm not a huge fan of the series, honestly, but the TV show is one of my favorites of all time, so I do want to complete the book series because I love to see the differences and see how much better the TV show is than the books. The next series I'm in the middle of is a pretty big series, and that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. As of right now, there are 3 books out in the series, and I have read 2 of the 3. I'm not quite sure how many there's actually going to be. I've heard different numbers thrown out there, but the reason why the series is so big is because they're this size, and I'm pretty sure this is like the smallest one. But I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. She's one of my favorites. Once again, this is also a vampire series, and you know, vampires are my brand, so I will read anything with vampires in it. Yes, love Jennifer. I just really need to pick up the third one before the next one comes out and I get way too behind. The next series is Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is book 1. Once again, I don't know how many are going to be in this series. As of right now, I think there are 3 out and I have read the first 2. I loved this one. I hated the second one. So it'll be interesting because I still think I want to continue, because even though I hated the second one, it ended in a way that I really want to know what happens next, and I might just Google it one day if I don't actually continue, but we'll see. As of right now, I'm planning on continuing. How I feel about the third one depends on if I will continue after that. Hopefully I like it a lot better than the second one. And yet another vampire series I am currently in the middle of is Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. I believe that there are 5 books in their series. There could be 6. These have been out for a while and I just finally started continuing. I read the second one just last week, I think, and I love the series. Vampire Academy is one of my favorites, and this is a spin-off, and I was really worried initially when I finished Vampire Academy in high school because this follows different characters that we had met before, and I wasn't too crazy about them, but now years later I absolutely love them and I'm having so much fun continuing with this series. So doing this video is making me realize that I am in the middle of so many vampire series, and the next one is Black Dagger Brotherhood by J.R. Ward. This is the first book and I have read the first book, but I want to say that there's like 20 something books in this series, so I don't know if I'll ever finish them, but I would like to eventually continue. I know each book follows a different character in the Vampire Brotherhood that we're following, so it's not as imperative that I read them so close together because it is following different characters, but I still would like to continue. This one was very enjoyable. The next series is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is book 1. I have read book 1. At the time, I believe it was a trilogy, but since then, I think 2 more books might have gotten added, or a whole other trilogy. I don't know if it's just a spin-off or it's connected or what, but I'm just gonna say it's a trilogy right now. I have read the first book. I did not really enjoy it, so I want to reread it to continue because I think now that I'm older, I might enjoy this one more than I did the first time I read it. This is like an adult sci-fi Hunger Games, which sounds right up my alley, so hopefully I will enjoy it more the second time. This next series, I'm actually going to hold up the second book in the series because the first one is under a large pile of books and I don't feel like getting it out, so the second one was easier to get out, and that is the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare. This is, I can't even remember, series number 3 that she wrote, I think. The first one is Lady Midnight, and I have read Lady Midnight 2 times. I am currently on my 3rd time reading it, so I can finally continue with the series. So the first time I read it as soon as it came out. The second time I read it right before this one came out so I could continue right away, which I didn't. So I have been rereading all the Shadowhunter books so I could finally read the ones that I haven't read yet, and so now I'm up to rereading Lady Midnight once again, and I am determined to finally continue because I am quite behind, but the Shadowhunter world is one of my favorites and I could live in it forever. The next series I have is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I believe there are 3 books in this series. I have read the first one. I really enjoyed it. I love anything about 1800s London and Jack the Ripper. I know the other 2 follow different like crime mysteries, but anything with crime, I'm gonna enjoy it. So yes, I can't wait to continue. Also, these are fairly short and easy to read. I've heard great things about the rest of the series, and it's definitely still on my list, even though I read this one a while ago. Now this next series, if you know me, you might be wondering, Keeley, why are you still in the middle of the series? Why are you going to continue with this series? And that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. If you know, I don't like Six of Crows. I read this when it first came out and I did not like it. I did not understand why everyone loved it, and as the years go on, I feel like I hate it more and more. So I really want to reread it so I could read Crooked Kingdom, because there's only 2 books in the duology. It's so easy to get through, but I am just not sure how I'm gonna feel. Maybe on my reread I will love it and realize why everyone else does too, but as of right now I don't like this book and I'm scared to reread it. The next series I have is Cinderella's Dress by Shauna Slayton. This is book 1 in the series. I believe there are, I want to say 3 books out. I know it's not a long series. There's either 2 or 3 and then like short stories. I haven't read the first one and I'm not a huge fan of it. This is a Cinderella retelling set in World War II, and I was anticipating that I was going to love it, and I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, but I still want to continue because Shauna Slayton is a friend of my mom's best friend, and so I want to support her. But yes, hopefully I enjoy the second one even more. The The next series I have is one of my favorites of all time, and that is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. There are now 6 books in these series, and when they were coming out, I caught up. I was reading them as soon as they came out, but I have yet to read the last 2 books, and so I'm trying to figure out if I want to reread some of them before I finally continue and finish with the series, but I'm not sure yet. I will finish eventually though, because it is one of my favorites. I love this one. I've read this one many times. I have read, like I said, I've read 4 out of the 6 of them, so I am almost finished with it. I just need to push a little bit more. This next series is a duology, so I don't know why I haven't finished it yet, and that is The Wrath into the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is book 1 in the duology, and I absolutely loved it when I read it a few years ago. I don't know why I didn't pick up the second one right away. I just think that I couldn't purchase it at the time, and so then I just never read it. But when I do, I want to reread this one and then read the next one. But this was one of my favorite books when I read it. I loved it so much, so I cannot wait to see how it finally ends. The next series I just started is The Gilded Ones. Now this one just came out, so there are no other books in the series that are out yet. I don't know how many books there will be, but I am planning on picking them up as soon as they come out. I absolutely loved this series and I can't wait to see how it goes. So this one I am kind of in the middle of, but there are no other ones to read right now, so I'm not doing too bad. Another one that just came out that I have no other books to read in the series is Legendborn. This one, like I said, just came out. It's very popular. I don't know how many books will be in the series, but I did enjoy this one, so I will be continuing with it. Now this next one I recently read, and when I read it I thought it was a standalone, but it was just recently announced that it is a series and a sequel will be coming out, which is not too surprising because the way it ended, it could have been a standalone or a series, and I'm so glad it is a series, and that is Dragon Pearl by Yoon-Ha Lee. I love this one so much. This is a middle grade under Rick Riordan Presents, and everything I've read from Rick Riordan Presents so far is just immaculate. Chef's kiss. I love it. And this one was no different. It has a lot of Korean culture in it, which was so much fun to read, and I can't wait to continue with the series. So if you've been following along with my channel, you know this next series is one of my new favorites. I recently read both of them. The sequel just came out, and that is the Kinder Poison series by Natalie May. This is the Kinder Poison and the Cruelest Mercy books 1 and 2 in this series. I don't know how many there will be in this series, but as of right now, I am completely caught up, and I plan on staying that way because I really love it, and I just feel like I need to read them as soon as they come out. This next series was one of my favorites from high school, and I caught up with it when it was coming out, and then unfortunately I got behind, and that is The Program by Suzanne Young. I really love this series a lot when I read it. I don't know how I would feel about it now. I don't know if I've like aged out of it, but I still do want to reread and continue with the series. I believe I have read the first 3. I can't even remember how many are out now, but I know that it has concluded, it has wrapped up, and so I would love to finally finish it and just feel the nostalgia of rereading one of my favorite series. But yes, I have like 4 of the books, so I just need to get, I believe there's like 6 maybe. I want to say 6, that feels right. But yes, I can't wait to finally finish this one because it just feels like an open door that I need to close from high school. Okay, so those are all the series that I'm in the middle of that I can remember. There might be more out there. There might be some series that I'm in the middle of that I've decided not to continue with, but let me know which one of these series I need to finish first. I would love to know your opinion because there are so many, I don't even know which one to pick up next. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!